Okay, let's dive into this. Look, we are living in an era of massive, literally earth-changing environmental shifts. And society's expectations for transparency and, frankly, real accountability, they've never been higher. So today, we're unpacking the brand new blueprint for corporate sustainability. Welcome to this explainer on decoding ISO 14001-2026, the evolutionary upgrade to environmental management.
So I'm going to ask you right off the bat, is your organization ready for 2026? Because the transition from the baseline 2015 standard to this new 2026 edition isn't just some minor paperwork update. No way. It is a direct, necessary response to escalating global pressures. We're talking severe climate change, a rapid depletion of natural resources, and a serious loss of biodiversity. Organizations are now fully expected to adopt a highly systematic approach to meet these increasingly stringent compliance obligations.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, the 2026 Environmental Standard. 2, the engine, the PDCA cycle. 3, ecosystem health and biodiversity. 4, the life cycle perspective. 5, clause 6.3 on planning changes. And finally, number 6, how to upgrade with Apply SO+.
Section 1, the 2026 Environmental Standard, a technical revision of the 2015 edition.
Think of this standard as your newly minted blueprint for modern environmental management. At its absolute core, it's all about balance, right? Balancing our socio-economic needs while actively protecting the environment. This isn't just about ticking boxes anymore. It's about meeting rigorous new compliance obligations and actually proving that your management system provides real, measurable value for your operations and your stakeholders.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. The engine, PDCA, cycle, continual improvement at the core.
Now, what's really interesting here is how the updated Plan, Do, Check, Act framework anchors the 2026 model directly to the overarching context of your organization. It's not operating off in its own little silo. It integrates leadership, planning, and performance evaluation right into the beating heart of your day-to-day business processes. It ensures both external and internal issues are consistently addressed.
Let's quickly step through this iterative process. First, you plan. This is where you establish your environmental objectives in accordance with your organization's policy. Second, do. You practically implement those processes just like you planned. Third, check. This means monitoring and measuring your processes against your operating criteria. And finally, act. Taking decisive actions to continually improve. What you really should take away from this is that while the standard's focus has absolutely evolved, this reliable engine of continual improvement remains the exact same solid foundation you'll build upon.
Moving right along to Section 3, ecosystem health and biodiversity, the big thematic shift.
So here is the big why behind all of this. We are moving entirely away from that old mindset of simply doing less harm, and we're stepping into an era of actively managing our natural capital. Think of a lush, thriving forest. The environment isn't just a passive backdrop anymore, is it? It's a finite, highly valuable asset that your business interacts with every single day.
And here is the crucial difference. Back in 2015, the baseline focus was pretty broad, mostly on the general prevention of pollution. But the 2026 standard introduces a highly specific, stringent mandate for ecosystem health and biodiversity protection. You literally must explicitly consider your impact on the world's stock of natural assets. We're talking everything from climate control to water quality and living organisms.
To actually meet these obligations, we need to demystify what this means. Ecosystem health is the overall condition or integrity of an ecosystem, its ability to maintain its structure, its function, and its resilience over time. Your organization heavily depends on these biological systems, but more importantly, your daily operations, products, and services have the power to either preserve and enhance them or severely degrade them.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next point in Section 4, the life cycle perspective. Managing consecutive and interlinked stages. We can creatively map this out as a consecutive timeline. It starts all the way back at Stage 1 with raw material acquisition, moves into Stage 2 with design and production, hits Stage 3 for transportation and use, and goes all the way to Stage 4, end-of-life treatment and final disposal. The standard requires you to establish controls at every single step of this journey. You can't just fix an emissions problem in production if it's going to cause a massive pollution nightmare during end-of-life disposal, right? This perspective explicitly prevents adverse environmental impacts from unintentionally being shoved over to another part of the product's lifespan.
All right, Section 5, Clause 6.3, Planning Changes, the new rigorous requirement. Okay, here is the formal breakdown. When the organization determines the need for changes to the environmental management system, they must be carried out in a formally planned manner to ensure intended outcomes. So when your team plans a change, what does this actually mean for your facility on the ground? Well, it means operational change can no longer be ad hoc. You've got to evaluate and plan for the expected environmental impacts long before making a move.
And the sources of these changes are pretty wide-ranging. Internally, it could be introducing new products, deploying new technologies, or making shifts in your equipment and facilities. Externally, it could mean modified compliance rules or acquiring new knowledge about specific environmental risks. Anticipating these sources ensures you stay in the driver's seat. You maintain control and stop unintended adverse impacts before they even happen.
Which brings us to Section 6, Upgrade with Apply ISO Plus, your next steps for compliance.
Look, to effectively navigate these stringent new requirements, you're going to need expert guidance. Contact Apply ISO Plus for comprehensive support to either upgrade your existing system to the new ISO 14001:2026 standard or to implement it entirely from scratch. You can reach out directly via their website at applyisoplus.com or shoot them an email at sales@applyiso.com. As we've seen today, our planet is facing immense, undeniable challenges. So I want to leave you with this thought. When the 2026 standards take full effect, will your organization be exposed as a liability to natural capital, or will you emerge as a forward-thinking leader? The choice starts with your next upgrade. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.